I took on a month-long pixel art challenge with the goal of completing 30 pixel pieces by the end of the month. I'm going to walk you guys through the rules, through the different stuff I made, and then I'll talk about how it relates to this very channel. Hey guys, I'm Andrew. I make pixel art, and that's probably why you're here. This challenge I took on was Septembit 2023. Yes, that was a little while ago, but I am trying to fill you guys in on everything I've done, so that way you can kind of follow my whole process from birth forward. I was making pixel art as a baby. Let's start with the rules. Septembit is hosted by Saultoons. He is a YouTuber here on YouTube. He does a lot of devlogs about his game he's working on, but he also talks a lot about pixel art, and one of the things he does is host this challenge. This challenge was inspired by tattoos and traditional tattoo colors. So black, white, red, blue, green, yellow. The first 27 images in this challenge had to be 32 by 32 pixels, which is a good medium size for pixel art, and the final 3 had to be 96 by 96, which is massive. Let's talk about the art. So I've got my iPad here beside me, and I'm gonna go through it. And I will say the last one, no joke, is one of the most meaningful pixel art pieces I've ever done in my life, so I'm really excited to show you guys that one. Without further ado, here we go. This is Mario. I need like a catchphrase. Let's do it. Let's look at it. Here we go. The first challenge was Skull, and this was kind of my make or break point to figure out if I was really even gonna do this project, and I thought this was a lot of fun. This next one I did is a rose. This was the first time I ever did dithering on an object because I didn't have a darker shade of red to work with. This was how I managed to get around that and make this look a little more 3D. The next challenge was dagger, and with the dagger I kind of wanted to base it on the Prince of Persia dagger from the Sands of Time games. One thing that you'll notice with pixel art, if you want to make sure that a sword looks pointy, if you do a little L at the corner, that makes it look a little bit sharper. This next one was a snake. I actually ended up using a very similar snake in my Nokia art challenge, and I had completely forgotten about this one while I did that. So it's kind of fun looking through these and seeing the fact that I did almost the same exact pose for a snake years apart. 1 year, less than a year, months apart. There's a heart. I like the little highlight on it. Not too proud of the way that the curves shaded out on the edges, but the challenge for this one was Lark. Only thing that bugs me about this is that I did straight horizontal dashes for this guy instead of actually swooping the line of action because the bird is coming from above, so I should have done a different angle for that. But I do like that I only shaded the bottom and not the top because I think that helps it look a little quicker. This one was Hourglass. I worked really hard on it. Looking at it now, it's not symmetrical. There's more pixels on the bottom section than the top, so it wouldn't really function very well as an hourglass that you can flip over. The challenge for this one was Scorpion. Nothing crazy to say about this. I just like this guy and I like the little diamonds underneath. Spider is a spider. Challenge for this one was Web. He's surfing the web. This one was Star. It's fine. I wasn't very inspired. But this one was actually one of my favorite pieces that I made for the whole thing. The challenge was Moon. I was playing Sea of Thieves a lot at the time. So the one thing I'll say about this piece as far as what you can learn compositionally is the way that the water reflects. It'll go from the object kind of outward as the light scatters across the waves. The next one, I've got a few different things to go through. So we're gonna start with the bad version. So challenge was Leprechaun. Here's a leprechaun, all right. I kind of like this one in retrospect, looking at it, because he's real wiggly wobbly. But at the time, I was trying to go for a more video gamey, not wibbly wobbly character. My characters usually have bones. This was the first version of redoing it, and this is okay. It's a little bit worse than the wibbly wobbly one because there's less personality, but it's also worse than the final one. The thing that I like more about this one is his proportions are a little bit more, I don't know, chibi-fied. They're more video gamey. I don't know, he's got a bigger head. This is my least favorite piece. It's a dice or a die. I don't know. I had a really hard time making a cube. This one though, I worked really also pretty hard on this one. I don't know why the colors remind me of Sonic. I've never really played the Sonic games. I have the Sonic Mega Collection on the PS2. Are the Sonic games good? Any Sonic fans out there? I should really probably give Sonic a chance. but I like how this thing turned out. It was very difficult to do with so few colors, but I will say that that helped me to focus on the different shapes, the facets of the diamond. The challenge here was candle, and it was my birthday while I was drawing this one. All right, so for this next one, I want to talk about kind of my process for it. In a lot of my videos, I talk about how I like to sketch out my piece before I do it in pixel art. This was back when I really hadn't mastered doing that yet, and I haven't mastered anything yet, but I wasn't doing it as much. Here's Mothra that I had drawn, so I wanted to use that as the base for this image. So my first attempt, I'm gonna pull that up, was right here. So if I make Mothra kind of disappear underneath, this was my first shot at it. This is using essentially the exact proportions of the Mothra piece below, but I don't really like how this turned out. It just looks kind of like a big cluster of shapes. I did end up redoing it using almost the same shapes, but this is way better. I had to figure out which sacrifices to make. The real Mothra has like mandibles up on her face, and then she's got 6 legs. So I just gave up on that and gave her teeny tiny little feet, took out the mandibles, made her eyes way bigger, chibi fighter, and I think it's a much better piece than it was before. Here's a wolf. That was the challenge. This is the best wolf I've ever drawn. The next challenge was panther. Look at this little guy. I was feeling sleepy that day, so I drew me a sleepy little panther. I like him. I wanna poke him. This challenge was eagle. The thing about this one is that I didn't want to draw an eagle, so this is Sam Eagle from the Muppets. Lightning cloud. I was uninspired and I didn't know how to do it. This one though, the challenge was message in a bottle. I wasn't feeling too confident with the bottle itself. I messaged my friends a lot to try and get feedback because they weren't able to read the bottle the way I wanted it to. So I did redo it to a much larger bottle. I ditched the little label on the front, and I do think this actually reads a lot better. One thing I also apparently was doing during the challenge, and I don't know why I gave up on it. Look, I had a little crab. I was working on a little crab. The next one was anchor. This is actually based on my wife's tattoo design that she has on her leg, so that's totally rad. If you notice, I did not shade part of it on the inside, and I feel like I did that for a reason. I don't remember, but let's try it real quick. That probably actually is a little bit better. If I were making the piece now, I might have shaded it like that, and that was kind of fun coloring right there for you guys. I don't know, I might start doing something like that eventually. All right, next piece. The challenge was compass, and because I can't do anything simply, I decided to draw Jack Sparrow's compass from the Pirates movies. This next one, the challenge was lighthouse. I like this thing. These are colors I never would have chosen to work with on my own if I hadn't been so limited. So the green clouds, I thought were pretty cool. They make it look a little eerie, a little Scooby-Doo. I do think it's a good idea to limit yourself sometimes in different ways, and you might be surprised with what you come up with. Mermaid. Do y'all recognize this mermaid? She's in my intros, and she's over there on the wall. I changed her hair color from the one in the intro and on the wall just because I wanted to actually work some more color into it, so she's got purple usually. And this one was ship. But I already drew a ship back on the moon day, so this time I drew the ship from Galaga. Galaga is like my favorite arcade game. It's super fun to fly the little ship around and shoot stuff. The fun thing with this one was trying to figure out how it would work with the different layers. I actually struggled a lot with determining where each item on this ship is because it's very flat in the original art. That's it for these small ones. Let's look at the big ones. First challenge was portrait. I thought of the most famous portrait ever. I don't know, I think she turned out cool. Got her little coy kind of expression going on here. If I were doing it today, I might have tried like some little highlights in the trees or something to give it some depth. You can tell it looks a little more, I don't know, lively, even just doing that. So I probably would have done something. And one other small thing I might have thought to do is I don't know which is better, but I would have played around with something like that. All right, the next challenge was pinup. So check it out, I drew a pinup model of my own, but she's a dead little sad ghost. This is the only one that I drew that I feel like looks kind of like some sort of a tattoo design. If I were to do it today, if I were to do anything at all different, now that I'm looking at stuff, I'm always like, yeah, but what if I did this? Maybe I would have done, I would have done that. I wanted to mention with this one, This is another time where I do think you should keep going if you feel like you're not all the way satisfied. This was the best version that I could come up with at the time, but here are some other versions I did before I landed on this. We had this like evil version with like super evil face. Her pose is kind of weird, her hands are kind of jank. With this version, she's just Casper. I tried a lot of options with this face, and this one is by far the worst. This one, well, this one might be by far the worst. I don't know even what the hell she's doing. Keep practicing until you land where you want to be, unless you're absolutely just out of time, then, you know, balance it all out, you guys. And this last theme was custom. Do I pull it up first and then, let's pull it up. Ta-da! Look at this guy. This guy you will also know from the intros in my videos and on my wall back here. His name is Gridman. He is a character that I made back in my comics when I was a kid. I was a little nervous about getting back into pixel art. Being able to get through all of these challenges really led to this celebratory image. So this is Gridman like absorbing the power of pixels because of how, I don't know, happy I was to be doing this. In the description, I've added a link to the Saultoons video where he goes through a ton of these submissions. I'm not gonna say that he says that I have mad skills, but I'm also not gonna say it. This gave me the confidence to really honestly make this channel. I don't think that I would have done it without that video. So Saultoons, if you're out there watching, thanks. And thank you all for being here. Have you ever done any art challenges like this? Or do you know of any that are coming up that maybe I or some other commenters would want to participate in? I'd love to hear about it. And make sure that you follow along for more pixel practice. Hey guys, I'm Andrew. My name is Andrew. Hey guys, I'm Andrew. My name is Andrew. Well, I did that twice.